Toronto FC has gone back-to-back in Canadian championships after defeating Montreal Impact 2-1 on Tuesday night. Caroline Szwed and Gareth Wheeler here with you at BMO Field. And Gareth, Toronto FC remains undefeated at home. They just won their Canadian championships 2 years in a row, and they came back from a 1-0 deficit, which means that they had to score 2 goals in the second half.
It was just an incredible night at BMO Field. Yeah, 3-2 on aggregate. It looked like we were set to go to extra time. Then all went off in the last 10 minutes or so. There was some controversy with a stonewall penalty missed as Fisher took out Sebastian Giovinco inside the area. That wasn't given. Then Patrice Bernier's sending off, which was a very difficult decision for the match official Dave Gantar to make, yet nonetheless sends off Bernier. The melee ensues, and then Toronto FC punishes the Montreal Impact. Like, I find it uncanny that last year in Vancouver to win the Canadian Championship, it was Will Johnson scoring 5 minutes into time added on, 90+5. Well, what happens here at home in front of over 26,000 people who were loud at BMO Field tonight? It was Super Sebastian Giovinco, 90 minutes +5 to go back-to-back. It's kind of funny how these things happen, but Toronto FC deserved victors on the night.
Coach Greg Vanney talks about the rivalry between these two teams and how much this championship means to the team.
Always, when we play Montreal, it's always a grind. They are a veteran team, a good team, an organized team. Always a difficult opposition for us in every scenario, and it just seems like every time we play them, the games are more and more exciting in different ways. But so, you know, obviously, congratulations to them in terms of just always being the competitor that they are, and it took us, you know, 90+ minutes to finally get the goal that was decisive.
Gareth, you just said it, Super Seba, and it was Super
Yeah.
Seba to the rescue. I mean, I know it was a huge team effort, but at the end of the day, it was Giovinco who finished those 2 crucial goals, and we know that Greg Vanney said earlier this year that this is the hardest he's seen Sebastian Giovinco working. And I feel like today it paid off,
Right.
and we saw that.
He said that on Friday night, and look, in big moments, big players generally deliver, and that's exactly what happened with Giovinco tonight. I mean, the first goal, like, that was vintage Sebastian Giovinco, just getting a step, going near post, just so much power. He has that quick release on the shot. And what I love so much about the second goal is that he worked hard back defensively to pick up the ball, and then if you watch the replay, he actually goes down. There's a little bit of contact, he kind of slips, gets back up, finds a spot in the box, picture perfect pass from Raheem Edwards, and ball in the back of the net. You saw the emotion jumping into the crowd. Listen, it was a frustrating start to the year for Seba with battling injuries more so than anything else. And tonight he shared the ball, he worked hard defensively, and the finish with the brace as well. He deservedly wins the George Gross Memorial Award as the MVP of this Canadian Championship. I thought he was incredible, and this is a warning shot fired to the rest of MLS. We're halfway through the season, and Sebastian Giovinco just now finding form for the best team in the league. Just think about when he's firing on all cylinders. It's a scary thought how good this TFC team can be.
And that's a great point, Gareth. And Greg Vanney, after the game, said that Sebastian Giovinco is one of those players that should remain in the conversation.
This is a good night for him, and I'm proud of him because coming off the final where he wasn't able to stay on the field for the entire match through the extra time tonight, to be there in a big game and bury the 2 goals that win it for us, it's a huge night for him, I think, and hopefully, again, we can continue to build off of this as a team and him as a player.
Toronto FC dealt with a little bit of an adversity in the first half, being down a goal. Like we mentioned earlier, they had to now score 2 goals, and the ref necessarily wasn't on their side the entire game.
It was a difficult night for the referee, Dave Gantar. You're right, TFC did dig themselves a hole. That's exactly what they didn't want to do, is concede early. But the 2 changes at halftime for Greg Vanney in bringing on Josie Altidore and Marky Delgado really paid off for him. And look, Mauro Biello, the manager for the Montreal Impact, won't be happy. But you got to understand that Steven Beitashour was taken out by Kyle Fisher in the first half, could have been sent off. I already mentioned the missed penalty call in the second half. It went both ways. The referee let things go. I know the Patrice Bernier sending off didn't sit well, but you got to see it out at least till extra time. They couldn't do that, and they were rightfully punished accordingly.
The good news, aside from a Canadian Championship trophy, is that Toronto FC now qualifies for CONCACAF Champions League play.
And this is the thing, like usually when you went into Central America, Toronto FC teams in the past didn't have a whole lot of depth. This team is built to win on multiple fronts. Like, think about the performances tonight. Edwards, Vasquez, Bradley, Delgado, all like Mavinga, Moore, I'm naming everyone on the field, Irwin, because they all played a role in tonight's victory. The depth of this team continues to shine through. It's a team in every sense of the word. And although Sebastian Giovinco was the star that shined brightest tonight, it's a complete team effort, and it reflected that in the celebrations post-match and the way things played out over 90-plus minutes.
The depth and the mentality, because
Yes.
we found out that Toronto FC is back at practice tomorrow. They never stop. They don't stop. You can't stop them. So they're back at training. For all updates on your team, be sure to visit torontofc.ca, and happy Canada Day.